discuss about constructors. So good evening students. In today's session, we will discuss about constructors in Java programming language. So yesterday, we were discussing how we can create objects in Java language. So for creating objects, we write class name followed by name of the object, then assignment operator, new keyword, and after using new operator, we use constructor. Okay, so what are constructors? Constructors are a piece of code. Constructor is a piece of code that is used for object initialization. We create object using a new operator. But what about its initialization? We need to know how an object can be initialized. So for initializing the object, we need to write some piece of code. Some statements have to be written in the program. That piece of code is called as constructors. Okay, so if someone will ask you, why do we use a constructor? You don't have to say that constructors are used for creating objects. Because for creating objects, we already have new operator. But constructors are only used for initializing those objects. Are you understanding the difference between creating anything and initializing anything?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's see the formal definition first, and then we will move forward to write a program in order to understand how constructors work. So all Java classes have constructors. Constructors initialize a new object of that type. That means if any class is there in the Java program and we are creating an object for that class, then that object will be initialized. So the type of the object will be same as the type of the class. If we initialize the object chair, then chair will belong to the same type furniture because chair is an object of furniture class. Default no argument constructor is provided if the program has no constructors. So what happens is if you don't write any constructor in your program, then what will happen? Compiler is not going to throw any type of error. If you forget to write the constructor in your program, there will be some default constructor that will be executed by the Java compiler. Who will execute the default constructor? Java compiler will execute the default constructor. When that compiler will execute that default constructor? The compiler is going to execute the default constructor the moment you are going to create any new object. That is the reason why while creating the object in that same statement, we specify the constructor name. Okay. So when no constructor is defined in the program, the compiler will execute default constructor. If you are not understanding anything while we are discussing, don't worry. Now I will show you in the program. So there are some features of constructors. Okay, there are some features of constructors. What are those features? Please note down in your notebooks. Number one statement that you want to note down is constructors are used for initializing new objects. Number one point is constructors are used for initializing new object. Now what are the rules? Put a subheading. Rules for constructors. So the number one rule is name of the constructor will be same as that of the name of the class. So if we have a class box, please see the example. If we have a class box, then the constructor name also will be box. Whatever is your class name, same name will be used for the constructor also. The constructor and the class both will have the same name. This is rule number one. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Rule number two. Please note down in your notebooks. there is no return type for the constructor. There is no return type for the constructor. Okay, this is rule number 2. Rule number 3, the access modifiers. Rule number 3, the access modifiers used for constructors are public, private, protected, and default. The access modifiers that can be used for constructors are public, protected, private, and default. Now, apart from these 4 access modifiers, do we have any other access modifiers also in Java programming language? Can anybody tell me some other access modifiers other than these 4? Yes, we have final access modifier, static, synchronized, abstract. All these access modifiers are also there, but you cannot use these access modifiers with the constructor. That is rule number 3. Am I clear to everyone? Please
Yes,
read out all the rules. In your mind, read out all the 3 rules. In your mind, read out all the 3 rules. In the same way, you have to answer in front of the interviewer. And if you will add one extra point, that the access modifiers like final, static, synchronized, abstract, strict FB cannot be used with constructor, then the interviewer will be double impressed. Now it's your wish whether you want to impress or you want to double impress. What do you want to do?
double impressed.
Double impress. Then
Can you repeat my last one? That final static.
yes, there are some other access modifiers in Java like final, synchronized. Shall I write in the chat box?
Yes.
Final, synchronized, abstract, static. All these access modifiers are not applicable for constructors. Double impress. Done?
Done.
Yes. Now, see in this PPT, they have given only 2 rules. Same name as the class, no return type, not even void. So, everybody will know these 2 rules. But now you know 2 more rules. Okay, so you are extraordinary. Now what happens, see, we create a class like this. Class box. Inside this class box, I have some variables. Okay, I have some variables like double width, double height, and double depth. What are the data types for these 3 variables?
Double.
Double man.
Double is the data type for these 3 variables. So my class is created. One class. Inside this class, we have 2 instance variables. Okay, now you know what are instance variables. Okay, I'm assuming that my students are taking one step ahead daily towards Java programming. So I can use these words, instance variables, static variables, local variables. Now, this is the compiler. Okay, so what compiler will do? See, have you written any constructor here while creating this class?
No.
No.
No. So what compiler will think, okay, this fellow forgot to write the constructor. So I should write for this programmer. So now here you see same class box, same variables, 3 variables, and the compiler has created one default constructor for you. Compiler is very good person. It always take care of you. So you forgot to create constructor here. So compiler created it for you. So the point here is, even if the programmer forgets to specify the constructor, the compiler never forgets it. Am I clear to everyone? The moment,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
the moment any class is created, along with the class, constructor is also created by the compiler. If the constructor is created by the compiler, we call it default constructor. We call it default constructor. And if it is created by you, we call it user-defined constructor. We call it user-defined constructor. So just you have to remember this statement. This keyword is used to refer to the current object. This keyword in Java is used to refer to the current object. Okay? So now I will tell you how constructors are created in Java. Okay? So I told you that every time we create an object, a separate constructor will be executed. Are you getting my point? How many times the constructor will execute? The constructor will execute as many times the number which is equal to the number of objects you have created. Okay? So for every object, the constructor will execute separately. If you create 1,000 objects, constructor is going to execute for 1,000 times. If you create 2 objects, constructor will execute for 2 times. Let's understand. What I will do is, see, if you want to create a program which is already having a constructor inside it, we can go to source. So my folder is batch 4. I will go to source. I will click new and I will create a class. Now when I will create a class, I will specify their name of the class. So name of the class is constructor sample. Constructor sample. Now I want this class to have public static void main, and I also have checked this one, constructors from superclass. Okay, so every time you want to define the constructor, just check this box also. Okay, then what will happen? Automatically a constructor with the name same as your class name will be created in your program. You don't have to create it. Now see my screen. Can you see we have this class constructor sample, and inside this constructor sample class I have my main method because I checked for main method. Also I have this thing called as constructor sample, which is my constructor. Now how did you find that it is a constructor?
It has the same name.
Same name as class.
Because this thing which is present in my program is having the same name as that of my class. The access modifier of the class is public, so the access modifier of the constructor is also public. If it will be private, constructor access modifier will also be private. Okay, so whatever is the access modifier for the class, same is for the constructor also. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I don't write this thing, if I don't write this part of code, still, please mark my words, if I don't write this part of code, still, the moment I create this class, automatically the compiler will create constructor. I can't see it because I am not creating it, but the compiler has done that for you. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will see how many times the constructor will be executed. So what I can do is I'll try to create some objects. So for creating objects, those who were absent yesterday or those who missed yesterday's class, please pay attention. If this is my class constructor sample and I want to create an object for this class, what I will write? Class name, constructor sample, name of the object. Let's say name of the object is object 1 is equal to new operator and constructor sample constructor we will write. So the name would be same, constructor sample how many objects I have created?
1.
1.
Let's create one more object. Obj2. Let's create one more object. Please repeat after me how to create object. Constructor sample, object 3, new operator and constructor name. Let's create one more object. Obj4 and one more Obj5. Please observe the program. All the statements are clear to you or not. If you have any doubt, just ask me. I will tell you now only. Most stupid doubts are also welcome. Please don't hesitate to ask. Because if you will...
The access modifier of constructor should be same as the class, right? Okay.
Okay. If the class name is this, constructor name will also be this. If the class access modifier is this, constructor's access modifier will also be this. Okay. So I have created 5 objects. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's write one message in the constructor so that we can see how many times these message will be printed. Even in this way also you can execute the program, but we won't be able to see anything because we are not taking any action, not printing anything or not doing any action. So let's add some message. System.out.println. This is how we print a message in Java, and the message I am printing is I am constructor. Okay. So how many objects we have created?
5.
5 objects. So if I run this program, you see the message will be printed for 5 times. The message will be printed for 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means whatever number of objects you are creating, that many number of times the constructor will execute. That is the reason why you see here you are creating object, and every time you are creating object, you are writing this constructor, you are calling this constructor, right? So this program is just to tell you how many times the constructor is going to execute. Am I clear? No need
Yes,
to note down nothing, just to make you understand. Now I have only 2 objects, so my constructor is going to execute for only 2 times. Now if I have only 1 object, my constructor is going to execute for only 1 time. Okay, so this is one point that you can write in a notebook, that how many times the constructor executes. So the constructor executes every time you create the object. Constructor is automatically executed the moment you create an object. Anyone who is not understanding because they have missed any session? Manish, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you understanding everything? This is completely independent from yesterday's session.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And one more thing, actually, we don't get the recorded sessions immediately. Okay, it takes some time. So it is not possible for me to send at the same day.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, yes. But surely I'll try to send all the recorded sessions by the end of week. So this is done. Now let's do one more program. Is everyone understood this, right? Then only we can proceed.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So let's create one more class. And I want to work on constructors only. Okay. So what I will do, I will write the name of the class student. I want it to be public. I want constructor and I want void main also. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
this constructor created would be user defined, right?
Huh. Because see, if you are writing that constructor in your program, then it is user defined only. If you are not writing, then compiler will give default constructor.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. But don't think that constructors are of two types, default and user defined. I will come to that. What are the types of constructors? Okay. Now what we will do, we are creating one class. We are creating one class student, and we have this main function, and this is the constructor. Okay, now what I will do is, let's keep some properties of students. What are the characteristics of students? All students will be having some name, right? You all have some name. So I will create string name. Is it okay?
Yes.
I will store the name of the students in with string data type. Then I will store the roll numbers. And then I will store, what else?
Age.
Say age. Okay. So how many variables we have?
3.
3.
Variables.
3.
What are the type of this variable? Is it instance variable? Is it static variable? Or is it local variable?
Instance variable.
Instant.
These are
Instance.
variables.
Instance
Very
variable.
good. Very
Instance variable.
good. Yes. So now what will happen? If I want to create object for student class, how can I create? All of you please note down in your notebooks along with me. Student S1 is equal to new student. Okay, I created the object. Let me create one more object. Class name, object name, new operator, student. How many objects I have created?
2.
Two objects.
Two.
Okay. Now we are not assigning anything. Okay. Let me make it a comment for some time. Let me make this constructor as a comment for some time. Okay. So this is my code. So if I don't initialize any values for S1 object and S2 object, then what the compiler will do? Default value. Yesterday we learned one thing. Do you remember? Yesterday I told you that when the method area, when the class is loaded, in the heap area, we occupy space depending upon the size of the variables that are present in that class. So 10 bytes of space was created in the heap area, and for some instance variables we kept initialized values, but for some we did not keep any initialized value. So what it adopted? It has taken the default values. If you don't initialize the variable, what it will do? It will take the default values. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Right, ma'am.
So let's try to access what is stored in name, what is stored in role, and what is stored in age. Shall we try to see what are the contents?
Yes.
Okay. How to check? How to check the contents of these variables which are present in student class? How?
Printing.
How we
Yes,
can,
Using object.
yes.
System dot.
The only way to access the data members of any class is by using object. So what are the objects of student class?
Name
Objects.
S1, S2.
S1, S2.
So for student class, the objects are S1 and S2. So if I want to access the members present inside the student class, what are the members? Name, role, age. If I want to access these variables, I have to use these objects. Okay. So what I will do is system.out.println, and here I will print S1 dot name plus this plus I am using for concatenation. No need to worry, we will discuss it later. If you are not understanding it, don't think about it at present. Just think that we are printing the contents of S1 student. What else is there? S1 dot roll number.
Roll number.
And S1 dot
Age.
Age.
age. Okay. Is it correct? We are accessing name, roll number, and age by using S1 object. So how we can access? S1 dot name, S1 dot roll, S1 dot age. So what do you think? What would be the output? Can anybody tell me what would be the output?
Zero.
Can
Now.
anybody tell me?
Zero.
Zero.
Null.
0.
But we have three, we are printing three things, name, role, and age. Then we should get three outputs, na?
Null 0 0.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Null.
Zero,
Space,
Default.
null, 0, 0.
Okay, null 0 0 because name is string type and default value of string is null. Role and age are integer type. So default value of integer is 0. Now let's try to print the content of S2 object. We have created two objects now.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Now I want to access the details of S2 objects. Then what I will do? Same statement. System.out.println S2.name. Okay, we have to change the name of the object. S2.name, S2.role, and S2.age. So this statement will give me the details of S2 student. Now you tell me, what are the details of S2 student? What is the name of S2?
Null
Null. What is the roll number of S2?
0
0.
What is the age of
Zero.
S2?
0, ma'am. 0.
0. So you see, both S1, S2 are same. Can you see? Both are having null
Yes.
name, both are having null 0 roll number, and both are having age 0. Now, if I talk about a university having 10,000 students and I create this program for 10,000 students, how many objects I'll create?
10,000.
10,000. I will create 10,000 objects because we are having 10,000 students in our university, right? So if I don't initialize the object, all the 10,000 students will have null name, 0 roll number and 0 age. Is it okay?
No.
10,000 students studying in same university, having same roll number, having same age, and having same name, null. Is it fine?
No.
No.
So every time we create the object of this class student, for every student, separate instance variables will be created because we know yesterday how objects are created. We know how objects are created, right? Let me show you again an object that we created S1. And if it is the object that we have created with name S2. Okay. So this S1 will have its own instance variables. How many instance variables we have? Name, roll number, and age. So I am not initializing anything. So what it will get? Null, roll number 0, age 0. S2 will also have these 3 instance variables. We are also not initializing S2. So S2 will also have null, 0, and 0. I told you we are having 10,000 students in our university. So like this, we will have 10,000 objects. And every individual object will be having its own set of instance variables. Okay? And if you don't initialize these instance variables, default values will be assigned by Java Virtual Machine to all the objects. Okay? Why I'm telling you this story is because initialization of objects is very important. Initialization of an object is very important. If you don't initialize, you see 10,000 students having same default data, which is not good. Okay, so who will do the initialization?
Constructor.
Just now we discussed that constructors are used for initialization of the objects. So this problem won't be there if we use constructors. Am I right?
Yes.
So let's see how we can create constructor here. So we already have constructor now. We made comment. So I will remove it from comment mode. This is my constructor. Please observe the code. Meanwhile, I'll have water. You also can have water. Okay. Is everyone is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Anyone who is not understanding my language, anyone who is feeling that I'm speaking in French?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
If any such cases are there, you can contact me after the session, okay? But you need to clear your doubts now only, because if you don't clear your doubts and you are not understanding what is happening in the class, then your interest will fade. Slowly your interest will go. And some fine day you will stop attending the session. Next day you will stop sitting in the placement drive. All these things will start happening. Okay. So now we will see what we can do inside the constructor. Okay. So this constructor we have written. That means it is not the default constructor. Because default constructor is given by compiler, but this constructor we are writing, so it's not a default constructor. So how many parameters we are passing? 3 parameters, 1, 2, and 3. So the constructor also has to pass 3 parameters. String name, comma, int role, comma, int age. Okay, 3 parameters. So if the constructor is having parameters, it is called as parameterized constructor. You can note down in your notebooks. There are 2 types of constructors. I am writing here. One is parameterized constructors and one is no args constructor. That means no arguments constructor. We have 2 types of constructors in Java programming language. One is parameterized constructors, which accepts parameters, and the second category is no args constructor, which does not accept any parameter. How many parameters we are passing here?
3.
3. So that means it is parameterized constructor. Now I told you this keyword is used to refer to the current object. Okay, so if I will talk about S1, this will refer to S1. If I'm talking about S2, this will refer to S2. This keyword in Java means current object. This keyword is used in Java programming language. Why I repeat these sentences so that you note down. This keyword in Java programming language is used for referring to the current object. For referring to the current object. So what I will do? I will write this dot name. Sorry. I will write this dot name is equal to name. I am just giving some body to my constructor. How it is going to work, we will discuss. This dot role is equal to role, and this dot age is equal to age. Okay. How it will work, we will understand. So this is clear. Now how many objects we have? S1 and S2. So we need to pass the parameters from here. So first parameter that I will pass it would be in the same order. String parameter, then integer parameter, and then again integer value. So what is the first parameter? Let's pass Avantika. Okay. Comma. Then what is my roll number? My roll number is 1. What is my age? My age is 29. Then Shalini. Shalini, would you like to tell us your age? Okay, you don't want to tell? 16. Okay, don't tell. Mute yourself. So Shalini doesn't want to share her age. So I am keeping her 15. Okay. So how many parameters we are passing? We are passing 3 parameters. Name, role, age. Name, role, age. So what will happen? See, when the main will be executed, new will allocate some space in the heap area. How much space? The space which is required by these instance variables. Then it will go to the constructor, student constructor. Now it will see that it is a parameterized constructor and we have 3 parameters here. One string value parameter, one integer, and second parameter also as integer. Now these 3 parameters will be passed, these 3 parameters will be passed to here. See the pointer of cursor. The 3 parameters will be passed here. So first Avantika will be copied to name, 1 will be copied to role, 29 will be copied to age. Okay, so this dot name, this means referring to the current object. So the flow control is at S1 object. So this is referring to S1 object. Are you getting my point? Main is here. So this dot name is equal to name. Now what is copied in this name? Avantika has been copied in this name. So this dot name is equal to name means current object S1 name will be set to name which is present here, Avantika. This dot role is equal to role. Current object S1 role is equal to the value which is copied here, 1. This dot age is equal to age. So current object S1 age will be copied from here. So age here was 29. Same will go for S2. Now the control will go to the second line. So when the second line will start, it is creating a new object, S2. So when the new object will be created, again these parameters, these 3 parameters will be copied to these 3 parameters. And here, this dot name is equal to name. That means we are talking about the current object S2. So S2 dot name is equal to Shalini. S2 dot role is equal to 2. S2 dot age is equal to 15. Am I clear?
Ma'am,
Now-
I had a doubt.
Yes.
Like, if there are 1,000 students, so we have to initialize all the 1,000 objects, right? Or all the 1,000 students. So it
Yes.
wouldn't be a hectic for the.
That we will discuss in arrays. We can create
Okay.
arrays for that.
Oh,
Okay. For
Yeah.
10,000 students also, we can do it through arrays also.
okay.
Okay. So this is clear how we are initializing. Now tell me what would be the object? No, sorry, what would be the output?
It would be
Avantika,
Avantika 129, Shalini
15.
215.
Okay. Can you see the output, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now if I have 10,000 students in my university, can I differentiate among them with these details?
Yes.
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 Okay. So now what is happening in the heap area? Let me tell you again what is happening in the heap area. In the heap area, we are having all those 10,000 objects. All those 10,000 objects. See, this is S1 object. This is S2 object. And now S1 object is Avantika, roll number 1, age 29. And S2 is Shalini, roll number 2, Shalini's age is 15. Okay? Like that, we have different values for different objects. That is the reason why constructors are so important. Okay? So now students, if I will tell you why constructors are used, this, that, you will forget. But if you remember it through the example or through the story that there is a university, 10,000 students are there. If you don't initialize the values for those 10,000 students, the details will be common. The default details will be there. So there is no use of storing the data. But if we initialize it, then it makes some sense. So how we can initialize it? We can initialize it through constructors. So now is the story clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes,
Ma'am, open the code, please.
yes, it is opening. Yes, tell me.
Yes, ma'am. For example, we pass in S1, ma'am, like name, roll number, age. For S2, we pass different parameters like birth date.
Mhm.
Like we are passing or not?
No, you can do that, but for that in the class also you have to specify, na? Here also you have to specify birth date.
Yes, ma'am. But
Okay.
we pass in S2, ma'am, in S2, ma'am, or not?
S1 and S2, both are objects of class student.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to add any parameter for these objects, like you are interested in storing the birthday of students, so for that you have to create one extra variable here. Like we have mentioned 3 variables here, you mentioned 4 variables. Store date of birth also. Okay. For example, if I have a furniture class, and inside that furniture class, I have parameters like length, breadth, height. Now you want to print the cushion which is used for a chair. If cushion is there in the chair, then what type of cushion is used? So cushion parameter should be there na, in the furniture class. Then only the objects will have that parameter, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, okay.
Okay.
Understand, ma'am.
Okay. So now tell me, raise your hands. How many of you are comfortable in Eclipse and you are practicing the programs that we are discussing in it? Okay. So I told you that if you forget to write the constructor in your program, still the compiler will do it for you. If I write a program, class demo, so what is this? It's a class. So will a constructor will be there for this or not? Please tell me.
Yes.
There is a class demo, and every time you create a class, the compiler will create the constructor related to that class also. Okay. So the constructor would be demo, but it won't be visible to you because it is with the compiler. The compiler is keeping it for you. So compiler writes default constructor only in the situation if the programmer has not given any constructor in the program. So if a class doesn't contain any constructor, then only the compiler will create the default constructor. Are you getting my point? It's not like that if you have written this statement along with this statement, this statement is there in your program and along with that you are writing this statement. Then will it be considered as default or not?
No.
No, because you are writing it. You are writing it in your code. You haven't forgotten it. But if you forget it, if you don't write it, in that case, the compiler will do it for you. So the constructor which is given by the compiler for you is a type of no argument constructor. It is type of no argument constructor. Why? Because in that constructor, there are no arguments, no parameters will be passed. Okay, you cannot write it in the program. It is given by the compiler, but it will not have any parameters inside that. And the access modifier, compiler, when it will create the no args constructor for you, that also will have some access modifier. What access modifier it would have? Can you tell me?
Public.
Why?
Same as class.
Yes.
So JVM can access.
Yes. No. It will be created according to the access modifier of the class. So if the compiler will see that the class is having public access modifier, it will create public constructor for it. If it checks that it is private or protected or default, it will do the same thing. If nothing is written, if nothing is written in the prefix, no access modifier is given, that means it is a default access modifier. Okay. Now tell me, I am telling you that no parameter is passed, nothing is done, then what is written? What is written in the default constructor? Can anybody tell me? This is my constructor, which is kept by the compiler. The compiler is keeping it for me. This is my class. This is my default constructor. Now tell me what the compiler is going to write inside it. This is with compiler. Parameters won't be there. Okay, I forgot to keep this. Parameters won't be there, right? Because it is no args constructor. Then what will be there?
Default value maybe.
Default value, but default value directly compiler will give at the heap area place.
Will it be null?
Nothing like that. Only one statement will be there. Okay, please note down in your notebooks. Call to superclass. This call will be there. This super method, this call is called as no argument call to the superclass. What we call it? No argument call to the superclass. I'm writing it here. Please note down in your notebooks. Only one statement, super, round brackets, semicolon. Only one statement will be there, and the meaning is no argument call to superclass. Okay, what is a superclass? So this is it for about no args constructor. Someone asked me this question. I hope this is clear now. Is it clear? Someone who asked this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I gave some assignment yesterday. First tell me, do you have any doubt in constructors topic?
Ma'am, you told one statement. This keyword is used for show current object, right?
Yes, yes.
No, I want to write that. That's asking.
Shall I dictate it for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So please note down this keyword in Java programming language. This keyword in Java programming language is used to refer to the current object. I'm writing it here, okay? This keyword is used in Java programming language for referring to the current object. Underline this keyword.